Marcy Boyle, founder of Hotbit, an upcoming marketplace for experiential e-commerce. I'm here to talk about two of my favorite things, virtual reality and shopping. Virtual access retail is immersive e-commerce, the next generation of retail. When I started to do VR, I loved the way it could transport you to a new space where you could interact with fantastic environments, other people, characters, and objects. And I remember particularly when I did Penrose Studios' Alumet about the little match girl. It brought me back to shopping on Fifth Avenue at Christmas time with my grandmother. And every year we would do a tour of the windows, and afterwards, my grandmother and I would pick out a Christmas dress. And every time I opened the closet and saw it, my mind would flash to those wonderful window displays and my time that Christmas shopping with her. Well, many of those grand stores are gone now, or in serious trouble. Brick-and-mortar shopping is in serious trouble. At the same time, experiential marketing, like those Instagram-ready, heavily production-designed pop-up stores and branded events like the Museum of Ice Cream or Refinery 29's 29 Rooms, they've become a $50 billion industry and growing. With immersive tech, we can use experiential marketing as inspiration to build a new retail channel that bridges the gap between real-world experiential marketing and e-commerce to introduce a new way to shop that brings the wonder of Fifth Avenue windows together with the convenience of e-commerce. Selfridge's department store founder, Harry Selfridge, said, "Excite the mind and the hand will reach for the wallet." Selfridge changed retail by promoting shopping as a pleasurable sensory experience. I want to do that too, and I want to bring it online. Virtual reality is ushering a digital change. We can now develop three-dimensional digital commercial space. That's what my company is doing, and I'm here to encourage more investment and infrastructure development for next-level e-commerce. There's a lot of work to be done, and if history repeats as it has so many times, every reason to do it. 2/3 of the US GDP is directly related to retail consumption. Did you know the average woman spends 400 hours a year shopping, and 96% of adults of both genders report enjoying engaging in retail therapy? Yet investment in retail applications for virtual reality is lagging behind in comparison to other sectors. It just doesn't make sense to me. The exploration of the world was encouraged through the desire to procure and trade goods. New empires were built by individuals who understood how to adapt new technologies to pioneer new spaces and change the balance of trade in their favor. Since ancient times, the marketplace has been where people gathered, not only to exchange goods, but also ideas, and that's how culture and society develops. Commerce is a major catalyst of change. And technology changes commerce. Railroads brought about the department store by enabling the large-scale, efficient transportation of goods. And trains let small-town consumers easily travel into the city to shop for a wide variety of goods under one convenient roof. Malls sprung up with the proliferation of the automobile. Radio and television allowed for the wide-scale marketing of goods, and television introduced as seen on TV and QVC-style home shopping. And of course, the internet brought us e-commerce. In 1995, eBay, as auction web, and Amazon both launched. And if you think about e-commerce, two forms of shopping were reinvented through digital tools, the auction and the catalog, both brought online for greater reach and efficiency. Not only did these companies change the retail landscape, but the economic one overall. E-commerce is a trillion-dollar industry that grew 300% between the years 2000 and 2018. And now e-commerce accounts for about 14% of retail. E-commerce is the only trillion-dollar industry expected to enjoy double-digit growth in the next decade. Meanwhile, brick-and-mortar sales have dropped 50% over the same time period. Over 800 million square feet of retail space closed by 2018. Retailers have already announced another 6,200 closures for 2019. And I don't know how many square feet that is right now, but some of you in location-based VR should be able to negotiate some pretty sweet leases. Private equity companies have been investing in retail companies, not for their retail business, but for the real estate that they occupy. This year, the Lord & Taylor flagship store on Fifth Avenue, where I used to shop with my grandmother, sold to WeWork for $850 million. That one sale of that one property netted close to the Lord & Taylor's entire annual retail sales. Brick-and-mortar stores are an inefficient, expensive showroom for products, and it's no surprise that new brands have been launching with a digital-first emphasis, many going direct to consumer, skipping the middleman. Traditional retailers are also moving away from the asset-heavy model and towards an asset-light, in which they stay away from the high overhead of brick-and-mortar real estate for their stores. Very soon, it just won't make sense for brands to maintain expensive real estate to showroom products when immersive technology will be able to do the job cheaper and more in line with the shifting consumer behavior. So there was a company in the early 1990s who was in pole position to rule e-commerce. Does anybody know who that is? Man in the front. Sears. Sears had the biggest catalog business, a credit card company with the public's trust, and in the early days of the internet, people did not want to share their credit card numbers online. Sears also had a computer network with IBM. Prodigy. So what happened? Well, Sears was built on the tracks of a new technology, the train, beginning in the 1890s as a mail-order business designed to compete against local general stores, reduce middlemen costs, and pass some savings on to the customer. The train allowed greater reach and efficiency in the discovery, supply chain, and delivery of the products. But 100 years later, Sears got off track. They even got rid of their catalog, which would have been a great driver for online orders in the age of dial-up. Sears decided to charge customers more to shop online than in stores, not a great customer acquisition strategy. Basically, Sears stopped innovating. Now, spatial computing brings commerce to another retail crossroads. And I see a new shopping channel emerging, one that, like e-commerce before it, is likely to dramatically alter consumer behavior and the shopping landscape. Because traditional e-commerce is convenient, but there are two core things you can't really do right now online: experience products and bring a friend. As a shopping experience, traditional e-commerce is sameness on scale. No memories are made from a click, and no meaning is conferred to our purchases. Millennials and digital natives want the things they buy to have meaning. Brands want to connect with consumers. With immersive tools, we can tie experiences, memories, and purchases together. And that's the future of retail. So it's no wonder that big retailers like Macy's, Amazon, Walmart, Alibaba, and startups like mine are working so hard to develop the next generation of e-commerce. We can remove the hassle of brick-and-mortar shopping, traveling to the store, parking, crowds, waiting in line, inattentive service, inconvenient hours, and stocking problems, inconvenience, and inefficiency. Virtual access retail will allow us to take what's working in brick and mortar, the experiential element, and bring it online to combine it with the convenience of the internet. It's time to think about VR's potential as commercial space and plan all the infrastructure necessary to address consumer functionality. Taking a longer lens, the shift in consumer behavior towards online shopping is expected to continue to grow. Stores, riddled with debt and lacking foot traffic, are expected to continue to close. Just as the internet drastically reduced the popularity of print magazines and newspapers, and the smartphone drastically reduced the demand for cameras, music players, GPSs, watches, and countless other devices, immersive tech will likely render brick and mortar an elective, expensive option when the technology advances enough to make it as convenient and efficient as the mobile web. Ultimately, the next generation of retail will probably threaten the value of commercial real estate. With VR and AR, we can also transcend the limitations that experiential marketing has in terms of geographic location, store hours, and capacity. We can bring these experiential marketing events online for greater reach while introducing a new kind of social shopping that's ideal for the experience economy. Shoppable, branded experiences online in 3D digital space, and that's a game changer. 10 million people from all around the world attended the recent Fortnite Marshmallow concert. Imagine a future of online product releases and branded events, much like the Fortnite, with entertainment and brand ambassadors. It's coming, and it will change how we shop, socialize, entertain ourselves, and market products. In 1995, when eBay and Amazon launched, 18 million Americans were online. In 1995, the internet was being dismissed as a fad. Newsweek did an article enumerating the many reasons why the internet would never take off. It said e-commerce would never work. 3 years later, in 1998, Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman said the internet would have no more impact on the economy than the fax machine. Oops. Well, there are now over 22 million regular VR users in America, and it's time to get serious about immersive shopping. Thomas Edison said, "Opportunity is missed by many people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work." I really love this quote, and I think about it all the time. The light bulb didn't just open up our field of vision, it opened up the night. It opened up time and space to new possibilities and purposes. It was a major contributor to the Industrial Revolution. The way we did business and lived radically changed in the 100 years that followed. The next 100 years from now are expected to be radically different again. Retail is sure to play a major role, and I see a huge opportunity ahead for virtual reality and retail. We're opening up digital space. Just as Amazon and eBay did not spring up from magic beans, nothing's going to happen by itself or overnight. We have to work hard to create the outcomes we want, and I want to shop in VR. I'm not the only one. An Ericsson Consumer Lab study found that shopping was a #1 interest of consumers towards VR. And VR could generate as much as $1.8 billion for retail and marketing companies by 2020. That's not very far from now. I imagine many of you are developers who got into virtual reality or augmented reality or mixed reality as science fiction fans who wanted to make the inventions you've read about or seen in films come true. I know I am. That's exactly where I'm coming from. And with effort and direction, science fiction becomes ordinary life. As an example, think of the film Logan's Run. In it, there is a service called the Circuit that teleports prospective sex partners. That's really a more inconvenient form of Tinder. I mean, you have to reject people face to face. But that's what's so cool about tech. We actualize the fantastic. I'm very excited by the developments underway for product customization, virtual try-ons, product interactions, virtual beings, voice in, voice out, and many other components that will be key to the next generation of e-commerce. But at the same time, I remember that the first time I saw or read about them in fiction was as part of a dystopian vision of the future. It would be wonderful if we could plan for the next generation of commerce within a broader vision of emerging technology that takes steps for a positive future, making the planet more habitable, finding valuable roles for those people displaced by change. A major issue moving forward will be dealing with the continuing transformation of the retail landscape. In my eco-futurist dreams, cement big box stores can be repurposed as residences, green spaces, and community gathering spaces. I often think of the Joni Mitchell song Big Yellow Taxi and her lyrics, Pave Paradise, Put Up a Parking Lot, her reaction to the proliferation of brick and mortar that began in the 1950s and 60s. We don't have to live that way anymore, and our behavior is indicating that we don't want to spend our time or our money that way anymore, which is good because it's unsustainable. With climate change and the population expected to double in the next 100 years, it's just a waste. We need that space for more important things. With immersive tech, we can improve efficiency in commerce for both brands and consumers, bring more fun to online shopping, green the planet, and make some money by developing commercial space in a way that builds on e-commerce. That's what makes opening up the 3D web so exciting, filled with so much potential and possibilities. We can have a different future, and I want to go there. Thank you very much.